this is Aromie here. Welcome back to our live Baxter DLC. We are here riding on our way to the not Rocky Mountains. We're going to the mountains, but not the Rocky Mountains. Those memories gave an idea of what to expect when you arrive at the cabin, even though he'd glazed over some of the details. He even mentioned other experiences, one of which included getting chased across the river by what he and his family thought was a bear, but turned out to be a particularly chubby dog who wanted to be friends. The ride was as smooth as it could be, except for the occasional congestion of traffic. That was always inevitable this time of year. Baxter wasn't the only tourist. Eventually, the massive freeways came down to 2 lanes as the elevation grew steeper and steeper. Roads cut through canyons, giving a scenic view. You still texted your friends and family between conversations and sightseeing until you lost signal. By the time you hit your first official checkpoint, it was late in the day. You stopped at the roadside diner for a bite to eat before finishing the last leg of the trip. You offered to drive, but Baxter waved it off. It was already enough that you came at all. Making conversation with you also made it less of a dull task, so he didn't mind. Hell yeah, princess princess treatment. And maybe it was better that way, since Baxter was running it. If anything did happen, it'd complicate matters if he wasn't driving. After the short final stretch, the car rolled to a stop at the front of a massive log hotel. It towered over your head when you stepped out of the vehicle. Baxter handed the keys to the attending valet. The lodge was somehow both rustic and fancy at the same time. For an oversized wooden cabin, the doors had big, elaborate wrought handholds that you were sure must have cost a pretty penny. It appears that we have arrived. Baxter rounded his side of the car with bags in hand, smiling comfortingly as you stood there empty-handed and staring at the building. It's nice. You didn't know what else to say. The nerves from traveling to the unknown were expounded now that you were confronted with the destination and an imposing one at that. Bro, it's so pretty in here. What the fuck? I've never been in places like this. It seems so cool. You both carried your things into the lobby. You hadn't brought enough with you that you needed to make a second trip. And after all that consternation in his bedroom, Baxter managed to shave everything he needed down to one bag and a suitcase. The lobby was as big as the front of the building suggested. Light piano music tinkled in the background, and an untraditional chandelier hung from the ceiling. Sunlight shining through glass doors and reflecting on the carefully cut stonework. A fireplace burned in the far end of the lobby from whom you could only presume to be guests, but despite all the chairs and couches available for them, there was scarcely a soul. It wasn't cozy, not in the way that you expected it to be given. Given, Baxter only described it as a mountain lodge. It was big and impressive, and even the stairwell seemed more fitting for a medieval castle than a homey cabin in the woods. To one side, the front desk was occupied by staff who were busy with helping with a large party. We may be waiting a while. Why don't we set these down? He tugged at the strap of the crossbody he had over his shoulder and lifted the suitcase in his hand, gesturing for you to follow the nearest open seating area, which was all of them. Footsteps echoed in the cavernous room, and when your bags hit the ground, the sound of that did too. Baxter opted to set his bags on one of the chairs instead of sitting. He'd been stuck in the car for so long. He didn't make a point of stretching his legs, though. What are these words? I've never seen these before. Ostensibly. What the fuck? Because I don't know how to read that. Because it would have looked overly casual for a man such as him.
What do you think?
So now that we've gotten a look, what is your opinion on our temporary abode? I mean, if the girl said it wasn't cozy, but this seems pretty cozy, except maybe the stone wall. But I mean, everything else seems pretty cozy. It's incredible I can imagine it to be like this. I think it's a little overdone. So you feel a little out of place here. It sure isn't summer anymore, he joked. It's incredible. I'm glad to hear it suits your taste. He turned his attention to the front desk, though the situation hadn't improved at all. There were no signs of it clearing up now or in the near future. Michiko, would you mind if I made a phone call? I'm considering making a call to my mother. I do not often keep my parents appraised of my day-to-day life, but I do believe they will be glad to know I arrived at the secondary vacation. His gaze dropped to the floor as his hand idly sneaked into his pocket to fish out his phone. His formerly polite smile became crooked. I'm not so bad a son that I cannot grant them that. Oh, yeah, don't worry about it. I don't mind. Thank you. It won't be more than a few minutes. And I'll have a chance to finally mention the lovely individual accompanying me. The teasing glow in his voice was enough to make you blush, and though you turned away as quickly as you could hide it, his laughter indicated that it was already too late. Officially withdrawing his phone, Baxter promptly brought up his contacts and made the call. A hand rested on his hip while the other held the device to his ear. His head craned back toward the high ceiling as he waited the dial tone before a voice, too soft for you to hear but loud enough for you to register, greeted Baxter. Hello, Mother. It's nice to speak with you. We've arrived at the hotel. The drive went well. He glanced over his shoulder at you before lightly pressing his index finger to his lip, as if to hush you before you could think of saying something. You couldn't help but wonder if she caught onto the we, considering Baxter came to the stand alone in the first place.
Yeah.
Yes, I have Michiko with me, my neighbor here. Of course, that is the greatest understatement of a relationship. She is quite special. You waited patiently, but not wanting to interrupt. This was the closest approximation you'd ever gotten to the vague concept that was Baxter's parents, and it was such a small thing, watching as he spoke to one of them over the phone. It felt so radically different than it did with your other friends. You know Kyra and Mr. Holden just like you knew Derek, Randy, and Terry's parents. All you'd heard about Baxter's parents, other than that they were educated and old-fashioned, was that they didn't mind sending Baxter off to Sunset Bird for the summer. They wouldn't see him this season, and so you wouldn't see them. You had to wonder if someday you'd get the chance to meet them, or speak to them directly. It didn't seem like a priority for Baxter. You're only dating for a little while though, so maybe it was enough to let them... It was just enough to let them know that you existed in the first place. After another few and yeses, Baxter's attention shifted to the front desk, which was slowly being vacated by the previous group. Mother, this was lovely, but I do have to take my leave. Take care.
Oh, yes.
You too. And with only a brief goodbye, he hung up and pocketed his phone. He turned towards you, picking up his bag and suitcase. Shall we go and check in? Yeah. You trailed after him with your own luggage. The hotel receptionist smiled from behind a wide counter, eyes somewhat weary from the day's work. Good evening. The receptionist nodded, offering her own greeting and reply before asking if you were both checking in. Exactly, and I would appreciate your assistance in doing so. The reservation should be for 2 rooms under Baxter Ward. Handing over his driver's license and credit card, the receptionist made quick work of their computer system and slid 2 pairs of plastic cards through the machine. You are going to be in room 194. 194. Well, no, 194 sounds better. Baxter was going to have the room next to you, 193. She picked up a map and drew a few arrows and lines. You were directed to take a left, head up to the elevator or take the stairs to the 2nd floor. With keys and map handed off, you and Baxter had departed from the front desk. So, did you want to take the elevator or stairs? You realized Baxter didn't immediately follow. You turned back to him as he caught up, gesturing for you to wait. He dug out one of his key cards and offered it to you.
Now.
Elevator. Here. It may not be necessary, but I would be happy to let you have it in case. Sure, thanks. I'll take it. You took out one of your own cards in exchange. Hell yeah, there we go. Baxter gratefully took your card in hand. You know, just in case one of us forgets our card, we both have each other's cards, okay? Baxter gratefully, totally not because I'm gonna sneak over there and be like, hey bro, I'm kinda lonely in my room type of situation. Pleased to have your good faith in the matter. The executive decision was made to take the elevator up to the next floor, given all the bags. Truthfully, with only a night's worth of clothes and supplies, they weren't that heavy. What was more, it was only a floor up, but they'd installed an elevator for a reason, hadn't they? Well, yeah, for like handicapped people or something. It'd be a shame not to put their hard work to use. The halls of the hotel were wide. It was easy enough for 2 people to pass through beside each other, though you and Baxter had to sidestep to make room for others occasionally. As you approached the end of the path where the rooms sat beside one another, Baxter withdrew his keycard and held it against a digital lock with a fluid, practiced motion. Would it be alright if we were to meet later this evening? It was a long drive and at least I am in no rush to hurry off to the next activity. You waved your hand to dispel any concerns, both real and imagined. Sure, that's fine. I'll see you soon.
Excellent.
Take care, neighbor. He winked, laughing as he disappeared inside his room and shut the door with a click. Tapping your card against the lock, you followed suit. Oh, it's so cute in here. It's like so cozy. Oh, such a view. Wow, what the... In comparison to the hotel foyer, the room was cozier, not by much, but it was much less grand in scale. One wall was laid precisely with wooden planks. At the center of the room, the headboard of the single king-size bed was situated by some nondescript painting. It didn't seem cramped, in part because of the glass doors that led out onto a balcony, and because of the nearby windows, which meant more light came into the room. It was bright even without the lamps on, and the breeze of the quiet evening up in the mountains, the branches waved to say hello. Setting down your stuff, you start unpacking toiletries and clothes before searching for a plug at the nightstand for your phone charger. As you unpack, the sun rays slipped further out of the room, it occurred to you that you also owed a call to your loved ones. Liz probably wasn't waiting by the phone with bated breath, but you didn't want to make her worry any more than she already was. It didn't take more than a couple of clicks through her contacts to pull up Liz's number. She had been one of the last people you were texting on your way up before the signal cut out in the first place. The phone rang for a second before your sister's voice came through on the other line. There was an exaggeration to her tone, a sense of suspicion.
So?
Michiko? This better be you and not some impersonator. I'm on to you, Ward, if that is in fact your real name. Liz, how many are you supposed to prove that? Excuse, what? So this is what I get for calling. Come on, Liz, you know it's me. Baxter wanted to do that. Don't worry, Elizabeth, it's Michiko for sure, you said in a silly voice. Liz just snorted. It was as clear as it would have sounded in person.
Nice try.
Look, if you're going to try and pull my leg, you've got to do a better job of it, Michiko. Oh, whatever. Do you mean my fair Elizabeth? That. How would the imposter even know my name is Elizabeth? It could have been Eliza for all that, Baxter knows. Well, she got you there. Maybe I told him on the right here. You didn't know that. A real imposter would have been smart enough to talk to me like normal. Alright, you won. It's me. Wow, I could have never guessed. Yeah, laugh it up, Liz. And she did, loudly, louder than that snort. It'd be no surprise if Baxter could hear her from the other room. Moving on, I'm glad you got there safe and sound enough that you're keeping up with me. I still don't know about that Baxter guy. He's too formal and stiff for someone younger than me. But I guess he got you there in one piece, House of Lodge. It's pretty incredible. I had no idea they had hotels like this. There was a huge chandelier in the giant lobby, impressive doors, and...
Why?
Gee, sounds ritzy. What kind of mountain lodge has a chandelier? This kind. At least you're getting put up somewhere nice. Do they give out sparkling water too? I don't know. Your older sister listened with the intensity of someone still handling an interrogation. This will do. Just make sure to have some fun for the rest of us, alright? Take pictures. Mom's already asking why you haven't sent any. They want to see the inside of a car.
Right?
That's what I said. The conversation trailed on longer, Liz weighing in on speakerphone with what had been going on at home since it left. She mentioned that Cove stopped by at some point to drop something off from his dad and told her that told her to tell you that he said hi. He has my number, doesn't he? Eventually, Liz tapered off at the mention of her own sleepiness. She helpfully reminded you to go and get some rest before adding that you needed to call her again tomorrow. The phone was promptly tossed aside in favor of preparing for the night. Then a gentle knock came at your door. Baxter, presumably. Hello, my love. Baxter, correctly, as he was the only person standing there in the doorway once you opened it. Hi, come in. Bowing his head as he stepped inside, he offered a thanks for being quick with the invitation instead of making him stand in the hallway. I hope I wasn't spending too much time in here. I was telling Liz about the trip so far. Oh no, please. I hope you didn't rush your conversation for my sake. I think it's wonderful that you two are so close as you are. The curve of Baxter's smile widened while he took a quick look around your room. It couldn't be all that different from his own, but he regarded it as though it were.
So?
It appears that you settled in quite nicely. It's so late, so I won't keep you. But I did want to discuss our plans for tomorrow. Feel free to enjoy yourself in the morning without worrying about accommodating me. It should be easy to explore the town if you want, but the lodge has amenities you could also try if you're interested. There's a gym around, I believe, along with a pool and a complimentary breakfast if you're up early enough for that. Or for it. As for the afternoon, evening, and night, I'll be pleased if we could spend it together. Yeah, that sounds good. I'll meet up with you later. Baxter didn't do early mornings or mornings in general. It was no skin off your bone to let him sleep in, especially considering that this was supposed to be a vacation. Well, it was always a vacation for Baxter, but the rationale held. He was always so considerate of you that it stood to reason to do the same for him. He nervously ran a hand through his hair before a semblance of his Baxter Ward patented confidence returned to his features.
I appreciate the understanding.
I thank you for your consideration. As for what we'll do tomorrow, how would you feel about a hike? There's a lovely trail that starts directly from here. It loops up and around the forest at the back, then returns us to where we started. It's a bit of a longer path, so we could pack a lunch with us to take on the way. I could have it ordered and delivered ahead of time. Yo, that sounds so fancy. The ordering part, having it ahead of time, not the hike part. The hike part's whatever. You loved hiking, so you're more than on board with the plan. Hiking could be good, especially with the prospect of seeing some nice scenery. Blah, 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 blah. The second one. Let's do it. He smiled graciously. Baxter had his heart set on that outing clearly. He made his day by joining the adventure.
Goodbye for today.
I'll look forward to it then. With that, Baxter took his leave after offering a quiet goodnight. There were a few hours left before he had to be in bed, so he settled in for the first night of what continued to be a surreal experience. It was spent peacefully, and then you were drifting into an equally gentle dream. The sun peeked through the sheer curtains the first part of the day to greet you as you woke in a sprawling bed that wasn't your own. Well, I usually on vacation, I am taking every fucking minute, you know. I'm taking advantage of every fucking minute. So I'm up. Like, I think I went to bed at midnight tonight, or last night, and then I woke up at 5 a.m. anyway. You hopped to your feet and you went through your morning routine, all the while considering the possibilities of your alone time. Baxter wouldn't be meeting up with you until around the afternoon. Your growling stomach made the decision for you. The first thing on your agenda was getting breakfast. By the time your hunger was sated, Baxter hadn't contacted you. Headed back to your hotel room for the extra downtime. You wanted a hotel to see the entire building. Search your hotel, blah, 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 blah. Oh shit. We should end the episode here. But I honestly am going to probably do the see what was nearby type of thing. Because, you know, why not? Since today we're going to be hiking. Now, I think that's a whole thing. So I will be traveling in stores and looking at that stuff. But thank you guys for watching today's episode. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.